Oh, this is a good one actually. This $2 reel's kind of holding up. It's not reeling much. Fish right there. Good size fish.
So much for watching. I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed this lethal lure video. Today is going to be Tackle Tip Tuesday episode number 10. This is a follow-up video from the how to be a better angler in 5 minutes or less. That one is going to be right up there. If you guys have not seen that, I highly encourage you to watch that. But this particular Tackle Tip Tuesday is going to be how to be a better angler in 10 minutes or less. This one is ironic because of the fact that it is Tackle Tip Tuesday episode number 10. Besides the point, I'm going to keep this brief. I just wanted to go in a little bit more depth on how to be a better angler. I have left it into several points. I think it's around 7 points here that I have, and they're in no particular order. All of these will help with success on the water, catching fish, and learning new water, period. All of these things are critical skills, and I'm just gonna roll right into some of these. And the first one's going to be lure presentation, and knowing what you are trying to mimic in the food chain when you're throwing which particular lure you're throwing. So if I'm using a gulp shrimp on a jig head, which is a common technique for an inshore angler, I'm going to make sure that that gulp shrimp is fed on there nice and neatly. It's not hanging up or hanging down, barely hanging off. It's nice and snug and looks like a nice streamlined profile. And streamlined profile is going to help it cut through the water faster, as well as just make it dark kind of and look nice and flush. Just
yeah, he ain't the biggest.
This is important in knowing that your bait is being presented exactly how you want it. A good way to test this is to get into some super clear water. If you have a pool at home, just try it out, doing some flip cast, pitch in there a little bit, and see how your bait's working. If it's not working how you want it to, or if it's not working how an injured bait or an injured fish or something is supposed to be looking, then chances are that's a reason you're not
don't want to hit.
If you find they drop
super
like
aggressive
using a lure that you've had success with in the past, check it. Maybe it's just hooked on there a little bit differently. Maybe it's, you know, torn to all smithereens. When gulp especially gets torn up a lot, you are dealing with that and it's torn up, it might not go as smoothly through the water. Just something to think about. That's tip number 1 as to becoming a better angler. Remembering your reel speeds. This is something my wife actually helped me realize. A lot of times as anglers, we don't really think about the reel speeds that we picked up. I have several reel speeds actually. I have some that are 7 series, 5 series, 6 series. All of these play a role in whichever bait you're using. What we don't realize is how much we switch. So oftentimes when you're fishing for bass, especially, this is amazingly true. When you're a bass fisherman, you have a ton of rods. You bring 5, 6 rods with you at the least, some people. When we're dealing with that, you set down a rod and pick up a new rod almost instantaneously, and you don't even realize what you've switched. You switched your gear and your tactics completely. Understanding that when I throw a 5 gear ratio reel and a 7 gear ratio reel, understanding how much line speed I'm dealing with, how much line I'm picking up with each retrieve is critical. Not knowing this, I would go from a 5 to a 7 and might be reeling really, really slow. Or I might go from a 7 to a 5 and might be reeling really fast and feeling like I'm not actually bringing in the same amount of line. But we're forgetting that when you're using a 7, you might be using it for a frog or something and trying to get that speed so you can pull that bait back in and throw it right back out. Whereas when you're using that 5 gear ratio, you might be just trying to slow roll a crankbait or spinnerbait on the bottom. This is a critical thing that us as anglers oftentimes completely forget, but it's something to think about. My wife noticed this the most. So that is the second tip. My next tip, being the third one, is going to be boat positioning. And ensuring that your boat is positioned in the right way. I've noticed this extremely prevalent when I'm going inshore fishing. When I'm red fishing, it can be astounding how much difference it can make on your boat positioning in a small little area. Oftentimes, the biggest spooking of the fish is your boat. Bottom line, that's one of the biggest factors that's probably going to spook the fish. Understanding that fish are a lot like deer. Deer, you want to go downwind of them. Why would you want to go downwind of them? For deer, it's oftentimes your scent. For fish, it's your trolling motor. It's the noises that you're making, in hopes that that wind and current will hopefully drown out some of that noise. So that way it's more natural and the fish aren't getting spooked as easily. That's number 3 in all these tips. Hope you guys are enjoying these. Number 4 is check knots. I wish I could show you how many videos. I don't know if we'll have time. Maybe I'll try to snip a little clip or a tidbit. I lost a decently large flounder this last weekend, and all it was is me being lazy and bringing in my bait over and over again, probably hitting all sorts of oysters, all sorts of stuff. My leader to mainline knot just broke, and I watched this nice flounder just swim away. And that was probably going to be one of my first keeper flounders, because here in North Carolina it's kind of a pain with the size limit. Besides the point, knowing to check your line. Any good angler is going to check his line constantly, especially the pros. They're going to understand that that single fish could be the difference between them making it in the money or not being in the money. This is a critical skill for us normal, average, everyday Joe that's literally just trying to get out on the weekend, catch some fish, enjoy their weekend before they have to go to their work week. Don't let the few seconds of you checking your line be the reason that you have to tell your coworker some fishtail. Here's a big one. This number 5 is a big one. This one, I guarantee no one can really fight this one. Bait cycle and bait migrations. This is a critical thing, and I feel like as anglers, this can be difficult for us. It can be extremely difficult, actually. Speaking from firsthand experience, I have inshore fished for about 3 years. I still do not know the bait migrations for inshore fish species. I just recently moved to North Carolina, and having lived in North Carolina, shrimp compared to in Georgia, the shrimp stay in Georgia most of the year. Most of the year you can buy fresh shrimp, see fresh shrimp, and use fresh shrimp in your fishing day to day. Up in North Carolina, the shrimp disappear for several months. This is critical in knowing that when I was trying to fish for shrimp, fish using shrimp, the shrimp weren't in there. So naturally, most of the fish aren't going to want to hit the shrimp. This is also holding true in your average lake and freshwater scenario. You're going to have crayfish, you're going to have whatever bait fish that you have, and they're going to have cycles of when they spawn, when they come out from, migrations, when they move up from deep water to shallow water, when they move back to the deep water again. All of these different cycles of bait are going to ultimately determine where your predator fish go. So keeping a good track of where your bait fish are and knowing which bait fish are readily available is going to ultimately make you a better angler. Tip number 6 is preparing for the weather. Oftentimes I find myself saying, I'm an angler, I'm tough, I'm able to do this. Well, just knowing that here in North Carolina this year in the wintertime, it was going down to high 20s, maybe 30s, 40s were really common, 30s and 40s. That kind of fishing out in that weather when it's raining is tough. I don't care who you are, it affects you mentally. And if it affects you mentally, you can't focus on fishing. Ensuring that you have some extra warming layers, some extra a raincoat to allow you to keep on the water. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did enjoy this Tackle Tip Tuesday, number 10, as always, guys, don't forget to watch this video as well as the video right below. Both those are awesome videos. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This is your last chance to subscribe. And as always, fishing out. Worry later.